In this lesson, we are going to be talking about the metric system for measurement. So there's two systems of measurement used most commonly in the world, and that's the imperial system and the metric system. The choice of which one you use depends on where you live. So in Canada, we tend to use the metric system, whereas in the United States, they more commonly use the imperial system. Now the thing to know, in this lesson we're going to focus on the metric system, and the thing to know is that the metric system is based on a decimal system, which is all based on multiples of 10. So we have things called base units. These are your base units, and there's one for mass or weight, one for length, and one for volume. These are grams, meters, and liters. So just a common referent for each is that 1 gram would be about the weight of a paperclip, so pretty light. A meter is approximately the distance from a doorknob to the floor. I think most of you have probably seen a meter stick before. That's 1 meter. And a liter is the amount of pop in a big gulp, or you might be familiar with 1 liter pop bottles or 1 liter cartons of milk. So that's 1 liter. Now, in order to calculate the other units that are used in the metric system, we will either multiply or divide by tens to move up or down between our units. So the metric system uses prefixes before each basic unit in order to create the names of the other units. So for example, if you are in grams, you would probably be familiar with grams and also kilograms or milligrams. So we're adding a prefix to the beginning of this base unit in order to define the other units. So here are all the prefixes that we use when working in the metric system. So you can see here we have our base units, and as we proceed to smaller units, we're going from our base unit and then adding these prefixes, or to bigger units, we're starting with our base unit, so grams, meters, liters, and adding these prefixes. Now, every time you go to the right, so to the smaller units, it's 10 times smaller. So this, from our base unit, deci is 10 times smaller. Centi is then 10 times smaller than deci. And milliliters, milligrams, those are going to be 10 times smaller than centimeters or centigrams. Every time you go to the left, you're getting 10 times larger. So deca is 10 times larger than the base unit, hecto is 10 times larger than deca, and kilo is 10 times larger than hecto. So you'll see at the bottom of your page here, there's another little table that just shows you that if your base unit was 1, then each of these units is going to be 1/10, 1 100th, 1 1,000th of the base unit. And over here, for every 1 of the base unit, you would have 10, 100, or 1,000 of that base unit to be equal to this new unit. So these are all powers of 10. On the following page, we have a really helpful chart that helps you remember what to multiply or divide by to be able to convert from one unit to another. So you can see in the middle of this chart here, we have our base units. So remember, these are meters, grams, and liters. Those are your base units. And if you were going to convert from this base unit to either larger or smaller units, you were either going to multiply or divide by tens. If you are going from some of these smaller units to bigger units, you are going to end up dividing by tens. And if you're going from bigger units to smaller units, you're going to multiply by tens. So let's look at an example. This chart will make a lot more sense once you actually start using it. So in the first example, we convert 0.08 liters, so that's a base unit, to milliliters. Liters is the base unit, and we want to go down to milliliters. So we want to go from here, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3 steps to the right. That means that we're multiplying by 10 3 times. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. So that's like multiplying by 10 3 times, or multiplying by 1,000. So you'll notice here that I've gone 3 steps down. I'm multiplying by 1,000. It's 3 zeros. So 0.08 times 1,000 is 80 milliliters. You'll notice that multiplying by 10 is the same as moving the decimal place 1 to the right. So here I move the decimal place 1, 2. Actually, I'm going to write it a little bit larger so that you can see it. I'm moving 1, 2, 3 places to the right. So I need to add a 0, and my decimal goes there. That's the equivalent of 80 mLs. If you were going the other direction, it's like dividing, so we're going to move the decimal to the left, and we'll get to that in a second. So here in example 1, it says convert 5 kilometers to decameters. So if we go in our table, we're going from kilometers, which is at the top, down to decameters. So we're going 2 steps down. So we're multiplying by 10 twice. So here we have 5 kilometers times 10 times 10. That's the same as 5 times 100. So this is equal to 500 decameters, which is DAM. I've moved the decimal 2 places to the right to get 500. If I look at example 2, or sorry, there's one example that's completed here for you. If you were going to convert 2,800 meters to kilometers, in this case, you're going, try and put both of these on the screen. You are going from meters to kilometers. So you're going from your base unit, but you're going up 1, 2, 3 steps. You're dividing by 10 3 times. So here you'll see that you're dividing by 10 3 times, which is the same as dividing by 1,000, or moving the decimal to the left by 3 spaces. So 2,800 meters divided by 1,000 is 2.8 kilometers. In example 2, we're converting 350 milliliters to liters. So if you go back onto this chart, we're going from milliliters to liters, which is our base unit. We're going 3 steps up, meaning we're dividing by 10 3 times. So here you have 350 mLs. You're dividing by 10 3 times, which is the same as dividing by 1,000. You don't have to show both of these, I'm just showing you 2 different ways. This also means you're moving the decimal place 3 places to the left. So this gives us a result of 0.35, and you can include the 0 if you want to, liters. And finally, example 3 says a tree house is 1.2 meters high. If each step is 20 centimeters high, will 7 steps reach the top or reach the tree house? So here you'll notice that we've got 1.2 meters and we've got 20 centimeters, 2 different units. So we would like to convert those to be the same. If we're trying to work with these, it's easier if both units match. So I'm going to change 1.2 meters into centimeters. Then I'll know how many centimeters high the treehouse is, and I can figure out if 20 centimeter steps, if 7 20-meter steps, sorry, is enough to get to the treehouse. So if I want to change 1.2 meters into centimeters, I'm going to look on here. Meters is my base unit, and I'm going down 2 steps to centimeters. So times 10 times 10, which is the same as multiplying by 100, which is equal to 120 centimeters. So that's the height of the treehouse. Now it says we have 7 steps that are 20 centimeters high, which gives us a total of 140 centimeters. And it's asking if this will be enough, which we can see that these steps, if you have 7 of them that are 20 centimeters, that's 140 centimeters tall, which is enough to get to the treehouse. So yes, you can reach the treehouse. So those are the basics of working with the metric system.